Thank you, first of all, for showing up. 90% of life is really showing up. This event celebrating gratitude, and we're coming together to share impact stories from the community of what we like to think of as truly healing the planet. We have the ecology, yes, but how are we actually healing the social fabric? How are we healing our society that enables us to really transform the world in which we live in together? What is this gratitude-based learning thing all about? Some of the impact that has happened with gratitude-based learning. We've had students getting $2 million investments in solar panels, multiplying business growth in companies. We've had people creating trusting teams and communities where people actually get to know one another, from janitors to students to managers and direct reports. Some of the impact is people being able to share tough feedback together, have difficult conversations, to have your voice heard and get to grow closer together because of that friction. But really, it's been creating this more fun atmosphere, the shift from people being strangers to friends that are doing stuff together. Families are having meals together again and getting closer after challenging situations. We have sports teams that are winning championships together. And we also have neighbors who previously maybe really disliked one another. They're actually talking again. But a little bit about who we are, the company behind gratitude-based learning, Onora. And so we started in 2019 as actually a software company for mobilizing collective climate action. And in 2020, as we started to go live, this shift of, we think we have things figured out, we know all the answers, but then we were asked this question of what would happen if we led from a place of love instead of fear. And that started to lay this foundation of this big shift. But the perspective that we bring into all of this is that it's not a cookie cutter solution. Evolving any ecosystem, whether it's a company, whether it's a school, whether it's a family, whether it's a friendship, is going to take nuance and grace. And our approach to doing that in Onora is find gratitude of what is, build connections, and then we develop and grow together. And so I want to just share what happened that led to how we created gratitude-based learning. And it's so beautiful when someone sees the world from such a different perspective than you, can show you that there's a different possibility. And so high school students happened to be that teacher for me. We were leading a program with high school students. The students wanted to create an impact project in their community. And we asked the students, all right, well, what are the problems you see? Because that was the way that I'd been taught. The typical innovation problem solving model is start with problems, and then we'll come together and get ideas going. All right, what do we want to put into action? And when we asked the students, what are problems in your community that we can start with? Not a single student could identify any problems in their community. Think about that. Not a single problem in their community. And these are students that had deep anxiety, worries about planet in the future. And so our guiding principle was what would happen if we led from a place of love instead of fear. And it didn't feel right for us to be like, well, what about this problem? What about that? And put the students into this fight or flight mode, looking at the world as full of holes and broken. And so we just fell back on that guiding principle. What would happen if we led from a place of love instead of fear? And we simply asked the students, let's just take a look at what exists in our schools. We have lights, we have heat in the winter, we have green space, we have trash cans, we have a cafeteria. The stuff exists. What's the positive impact and positive ripple effects that happens because of what exists, regardless of what it takes to make happen behind the scenes? Simply because of what's there, what's the good stuff that gets to happen? And so students, for example, looked at trash cans. And the fact that trash cans exist in the schools means that it's cleaner outside, which then means that we get to spend more time outside. It feels better. They want to spend more time outside with their friends. They come back to class feeling better. And when they looked at the ripple effects, they're like, the fact that trash cans exist helped me make friends and get into college, which blew our mind. And so we said, well, what if we actually thank the people responsible for that goodness? What if we got curious about what it takes to make all this goodness happen? What do they wish someone like me would know about it? Talk to the janitors, talk to the people doing the work to make all this goodness happen. And so we call this gratitude-based learning, and it's since evolved into gratitude-based leadership and living and parenting in so many different ways. Really what we've been doing since this discovery is putting theory into action, right? Because we want to see change in the real world. And so, Henrik, if you want to just share.
I think maybe I should ask you guys to just listen a little bit to what Adam was saying just a minute ago here and what we're actually hearing. What I was hearing from Adam was he was connecting with that passion. It was coming out of him, you can really feel he's engaged, right? And I think that's, at the end of the day, what we really would like to see happening is that you guys get connected to that thing that motivates you and that passion. So we have a framework for helping that, right? And instead of jumping to action based on this urgency, fear, let's take that moment to really find that gratitude. If we start by getting out of our heads and into our body, our hearts, feeling it, not just thinking it, everything changes for how we connect with one another and for how we go about things. Everything changes if we have that different energy about us. And that is actually going to lead us to so much more action happening, but not just any kind of action, also, I would dare say, better action, because we have created all of these connections, because we're coming with this different mindset. We might be able to come up with better solutions.
And really, as our dear friend Albert Einstein said, no problem can be solved from the same consciousness that created it. And so today, let's allow ourselves to see things from a different perspective, allow ourselves to experience the door cracking open of different way to possibly see things.